All right.
Yep.
Hey, good morning. This is the March 4th meeting of the Buildings and Facilities Committee. When I call your names, can you please, well, you're not unmuted. I mean, you're not muted. Just let me know that you can be heard. Tammy,
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Okay, and Sharon is not joining us right now. Okay, let's let me just quickly look at the agenda. Okay, the first thing is to approve the minutes of last meeting from our 11/19 meeting. Can someone move to
January 21st for the minutes. Sharon sent them out
Oh, sorry,
yesterday.
you're right, January 21st. I'm sorry. Thank you for doing the minutes, Tammy. Can we just
Yeah.
can someone propose
Motion to approve.
Second.
any changes and any conversation around the meeting, the minutes? No?
No.
Okay, how do you vote? George,
Yes. Approve.
Tammy,
Yes.
and I approve. Okay. Next, let's see, is there next on the agenda is public comment, and I don't see any members of the public. So then let's just move on to monthly buildings and grounds report. Just the one thing that Sharon mentioned before she left was that now she's in touch with the buildings town facilities supervisor, so they can discuss when if there's a storm, when the branches will be cleaned or accessible to the public. That was the one thing she mentioned. But is there anything else, George?
Yeah, I mean, and I can elaborate on that a little bit. It was just a matter of putting together a mechanism so that if there is a snow emergency, and there's going to be either a late opening or the building's going to be closed, typically Sharon and I would have a conversation about the Jones, but the branches were, um, that communication chain wasn't exactly there. So we've hammered that out, and moving forward, the situation will be a lot better, a lot more transparent. Because the on the town end, they need to be able to tell us whether or not they can get to those buildings before their scheduled opening times, so that there isn't a situation where the building's open and for instance, at North Amherst, if the driveway hasn't been plowed yet, or the sidewalks haven't been sanded or salted yet. So that mechanism is in place. Hopefully we won't have any more snowstorms to deal with it, but that's in place. So moving forward, it should be a lot easier.
Okay, well,
Good.
one can only hope.
Yeah.
Um,
The only other things building related that I can talk to, the company DPW was here yesterday, just digging that exploratory hole where the oil tank used to be.
mhm,
That's the oil tank that was removed in the 90s during that renovation.
mhm.
Uh, and they just needed to dig a hole just to do some soil testing. So that happened yesterday. I don't know any results or anything like that, but we had the driveway closed yesterday for the entire day for that process, and it's all uh finished. So we're just awaiting the report results.
So they're just testing the ground in case there's some
Contamination. Yeah, in case there's
yeah.
any contamination there. The records were a little fuzzy, and we couldn't find in any of our 90s building renovation documents that the testing had been done. We're assuming it had been, but just as a safety protocol, we went
Okay.
ahead and just having that soil tested just
Okay.
to make sure everything is okay there.
Okay.
Okay. And do we know when we'll know?
I do not. I do
No.
not. Uh, Probably soon, I would assume.
Okay. Oh, can I ask a quick question? Anything
Mhm.
new on the person who was trying to break into cars?
No, there haven't been any other incidents to my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no identification of the individual. We don't know who they were. But there
Mhm.
haven't been any other incidents since that one
But
day.
weren't those cars open?
Yeah, the one of the cars was unlocked and the door was left open. And just some nominal things were taken, but nothing of any value
But
or anything like
everybody's
that.
locking their cars now.
Yeah, everybody, I gave everybody a heads up, hey, to make sure, I know we're right downtown and it's just in everybody's best interest to make sure their vehicles stay locked, and everybody's been pretty good about that. So
Right. And there's a camera there, right?
it
There?
doesn't reach the driveway.
Oh,
And
okay.
the nearest town camera is on Amity Street, so it doesn't really get the driveway itself.
Okay.
So it is an unsupervised area as far as cameras go.
Okay.
So there's no way for us to look at any history or anything like that,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So
Well, hopefully the person has moved on
yeah, here's
to
hoping.
other locations or has
Yeah,
given up the life of crime.
yeah. The only other thing I have to report is just that there's been an uptick of graffiti in the bathrooms, particularly the men's room.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's because it's pro-library graffiti. It's that I love libraries in enormous letters.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
but it was on a painted surface, so we had to clean it and repaint it. But there has been an uptick in graffiti in general, and I think that's a town-wide thing, honestly.
Hmm.
Because I'm seeing more graffiti around town, and obviously the CVS property has a considerable amount of graffiti, but we have contacted the owners and they're aware of it. Uh,
They
but
still live in Florida, right?
I believe so. I believe it's the uh children of the owners who manage the property now. I don't know
Okay.
their names, but we had been in contact with them just so they were aware of it because we weren't certain that they were. So
And
Good
is
of
it
you.
just library stuff or is there other um
there has been no political
negative?
graffiti
Okay.
that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been no political, no hate graffiti or anything like that. It's all been, as far as graffiti goes, it's been pretty non-political stuff. So
Okay.
yeah.
Frustrated artist or students with a lot
And
of time on their hands.
yeah, it's still the time of year where a lot of students come into the building after school, and
Yeah.
we do have a pretty healthy amount of school age children that are coming to the library after school and hanging out and stuff, which is good that they're here. They're not
Yeah.
out on the street or anything like that. So, but
Yeah.
it's I think it's a lot of that.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
what about vaping? Anything?
No real changes. No
No.
real changes. It's still happening, um, but there just hasn't been any uh noteworthy incidents to discuss.
Okay.
Yeah, we have signage, but it's vaping is one of the it's different than if somebody were smoking in the basement. Vaping
Mhm.
is so easy to just hide.
Yeah.
Any patrons that we have to approach and talk to about it, they're understanding and they put it away. But again, it's just one of those things that's really impossible to track.
It
Right.
doesn't, some of them have a flavored,
Some
so is that,
do,
yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, you might smell it, but more often
but you
you
don't know
can't
if it's
keep it.
gum or a cough drop.
Well, that's true,
Because
Yeah.
that's
the
true.
flavors are all, they're all intended to, I could get into why they flavor them to be enticing, but
Yeah.
yeah, they all smell like some type of candy or food product. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint, is it vaping or is it candy?
Right. Oh, well. Uh, so elevators are okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We just had our last inspection, so that they're all good to go. They're
Okay.
all up to date and they're certificates are in the elevators, so we're good for another year.
That's good. And there was something in last month's minutes, and I kind of blanked on this, but the building was supposed to be inspected at the end of December, I guess. No, end of January.
Oh, the town building inspection?
Yeah.
Yeah, that hasn't been scheduled yet. That's something that the town schedules.
Okay.
Yeah, they schedule it and they notify us when they're gonna come. That has not been scheduled yet. I haven't received notification.
Okay.
And
And this
sometimes
is
that
what-
can sometimes that can come down to like how well their department is staffed, because they obviously have a lot of buildings to do in this town, because they do, they do all the dorms and everything like that. So it just
Oh,
hasn't
wow,
been
really?
scheduled. Yeah, it just hasn't been scheduled yet.
Okay.
So what are they checking for? Like soundness of building or?
They check
Or-
mostly, it's mostly safety based, they check
Okay.
on fire suppression, whether or not emergency lights work, egress, things like that. That's what they
Okay.
tend to focus on, and just general safety of the building.
Right. Okay.
Because our building hasn't gone through any changes, there's no concern or checking for code violations or things like that. So it's
Mhm.
mostly safety based.
Okay.
Hmm.
And heat is working. Hopefully we
Heated.
won't have to use it for that much longer. Though you switch over in May, right? May or
We
June?
tend to switch over end of May, early June, depending on what the weather's like. So yeah, that it's way too early to schedule that. We also don't know if we're going to be in the building at that point. So yeah, right now we're still in heating system, and everything is still operating as good as it ever has.
Right.
Well, that's good.
That's good. Yeah. And the building's been really crowded. I can't find a spot to work
Yeah.
most afternoons. So I guess that's good
Yeah.
and bad, right?
Yeah.
Tells
No,
us
we've
why
been
we
busy.
need the building. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been busy. The meeting
Yeah.
rooms have been very busy, both by programming and outside use. It's been very busy, especially the past couple months. It's been hard for us to get in there and do, like, say if we want to block the room out for a couple days for carpet cleaning. It's been difficult to schedule it because the room is so booked.
Right.
So yeah, no, building's getting a lot of use.
Good. Okay. Tammy, and do you have any other questions
I
on
don't.
building and
I
grounds?
don't.
No.
I think it's encouraging that it's overcrowded.
Yeah.
You know, and finding a hard time, to find a good place to work, and that the rooms are all booked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaks more and more to us needing the building, the expanded renovated building.
Yeah.
Oh, do we have any, if the plan goes through, maybe this
Excuse
is a Sharon question. Do we have any idea where the interim location would be? Do you have any update on that, George?
I do not have any update on that.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay, topics not anticipated 48 hours in advance. Any topics? Anyone have anything to
No.
add? No. Okay. I guess we're done. Tammy, did you want to add
What?
anything or
No, I had a question for Sharon, but I can email her. I was interested in the MBLC meeting on Thursday, but
Oh.
I will email her.
It's at 10. Did you get the link?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right. Great.
I guess we'll see you all at the meeting on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you both.
All right.
Have a
Thank
good rest of the
you.
week.
You
You
as well.
too. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.